Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, the 28th day of April. Hope you had a wonderful Pesach. This is a bunch of laws that you'll need to know for right after Pesach. First of all, the law is that any chametz that was owned by a non-Jew over Pesach is forbidden to be used by a Jewish person. This was a fine kind of that the rabbis put on anyone who improperly held on to chametz and didn't sell it away over Pesach. They said, if you do that, then no Jew should be benefiting from that chametz that was kept improperly. Most of the people who did it right either burned all their chametz before or sold their chametz away to a non-Jew. Now, anyone who didn't do that, like I just said, it's not supposed to be benefited from. Now, the reason that law is important to us is because there are Jewish stores out there that you might want to start buying from to stock up on your cereals and your breads and your pretzels, etc. And if they're non-Jewish owned, that's totally fine. You can just walk in there and buy anything you want because you're buying chametz that was owned by a non-Jew, and he did nothing wrong. He's allowed to own chametz on Pesach. If you're walking into a store that was owned by a Jew and he sold all of his chametz over Pesach, then it's also fine to buy there because he also did not do anything wrong. He had chametz, he sold it away to a non-Jew over Pesach, and now he bought it back after Pesach, and you can walk in there and buy anything you want. It's the next category that's problematic, and that's a Jewish store owned by a Jew, and that Jew, if he did not properly sell his chametz over Pesach, then no Jew is supposed to be benefiting from it, and you should not be buying your bread, pretzels, Cheerios, etc. from a store like that. Now, how do you know if any store in your area is like that? If you're in a big Jewish city, you can always check with the rabbis of your area, and they usually have lists available showing you which kind of store has this problem. Any store that does fall under this category, usually you can start buying from that store a number of weeks later when you're certain that the bread that you're buying is not bread that was owned in that store over Pesach. But again, you'd have to check with the rabbis of your area to know whether the safe time to wait is like 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and it would probably depend on the product. Cheerios can probably sit on the shelf for months, depending on how fast the stuff moves in and out of the store. Breads, by the time you get to a few weeks, you could, and it wasn't in the freezer, you could bet that the bread you're buying 3 weeks later was not bread that was owned over Pesach. But check with the rabbis of your area if you have any doubts about any of these situations. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.